If you want to die so much, just slit your wrist and kill yourself.
Yeah.
You people go on and on
I'll get back to you.
how you want things to get better and how much you hate your life.
Sure.
But in reality, it comes down to two options: work towards a better life,
Sure.
or just die. Being angry isn't a bad way to go about it. Gives you vigor, gives you something. But anger is a place who men who can't deal with sadness go to.
You actually want me to talk about it?
Sure, I mean, must be some creepy thing you got going. In fact, you even want to know. And you're just actually curious.
Okay, where do I start? Where do I start? Come on, tell me. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. Sure, I can start there, that's fine. Oh my goodness.
Well, I guess I gotta start. I guess I'll start at, the differences. Might as well. Okay, I guess let's just start with some terms. Cisgender. Cisgender is a term for someone who has a gender identity that aligns with what they were assigned at birth. So, you. Yeah, you. Or maybe not you. Who knows? Not me. I never know how to talk about these things, man. I never. Yeah. You know. What? Yeah, if you ask me the difference between sex and gender is one more time, I'm gonna fucking snap. Sex is a physical characteristic of the body, yet sex always seems to get used in a way to denounce trans people by saying shit like, your gender is female, but your sex is male. Yeah, no fucking shit. People get so caught up with what genitals somebody else has, and it's honestly really creepy. At this moment in time, I have a penis, but I shouldn't discredit my identity because in 2 months I'm going to be living full time as a woman. Yeah? Yeah? Gender binary. Gender fucking binary. Fuck you. I would argue that the major problem with the binary gender system is not that it is binary, as most physical sex characteristics and gender inclinations appear to be bimodal in nature, but rather that it facilitates the naive and oppressive belief that women and men are opposites, because the idea that women and men are opposite sexes automatically creates assumptions and stereotypes that are differently applied to each sex. I call this view of gender oppositional sexism. That was a quote from a trans woman by the name of Julia Serrano in her book Whipping Girl. If you ever want to pick up the book, it's on page 104. And I think oppositional sexism is a pretty good word to get cis people more familiar with the discourse and trans talk and just trans spaces in general. It's a relatively recent word, yeah. Essentially, oppositional sexism is the act of punishing femininity and male perceived people and masculinity in perceived female people. So I guess you could see how that tie into transphobia, right? At least I hope. I'm not very good at words, but I hope this is starting to make sense. I sure hope this is starting to make sense. Dreams? Did I ever have any dreams? Yeah, I guess I did. Um, I remember when I was about 6 years old, I, I used to have dreams all the time about being a girl. But back then it was scary. Back then I was always screaming about it and I was scared. I don't really like to talk about because I don't want everyone to put trans people into this little box, which is why I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but yeah, I did have dreams. You know that when you cut your skin open, there's a very distinct smell to it? I remember it because I don't really have a good sense of smell, but that just sticks out. And so far, nothing's ever really been able to create that. So maybe that's just what I'm trying to get back, the smell.
I didn't get my first girl clothes until after I tried to kill myself. I guess sometimes it just takes an extreme for people to take you seriously. Or, well, I should say it took an extreme for me to finally be able to tell someone. I'm not complaining, though. I'm glad that it happened the way that it did. It's an old wives' tale that people who are lonely always dream of ants and picture seeing ants everywhere. I guess that's true. I go through that. I see ants sometimes. But I hate ants. For me, it's more spiders. Spiders are not inherently dangerous, depending on what species you're talking about. And they can be huge. They're just huge, gaping, ugly creatures. They have a lot of children. And then they grow up to be big, ugly, and huge and have a lot of children. How's that any different than us? Spiders. We're all just spiders. Maybe I'm just not being fair enough. There are some people who are amazing. Like her. Most people's words bring you down, but her words bring you up. Like fists. We're all trained in the art of using words. We're usually trained in it as a way to damage others, just like boxers train their fists. But her fists bring you up. Really gives you hope, doesn't it? Yeah. This is what this trans body needs. Fists that bring her up. When I was a young penis haver, I was punished for playing with dolls. This is oppositional sexism. To paraphrase Julia Serrano from earlier, the fact that the two genders are seen as mutually exclusive is the problem. People mix and match different, I don't even know what to call it, just different gender inclinations together all the time. Even the most feminine men can really enjoy sports and have short hair. And the most masculine men can want to wear makeup from time to time. I mean, you look at cis women and you punish them for having short hair, for being into weightlifting, for having deeper voices and hairy arms, or just hair in general anywhere on their body besides their head and their vagina. You look at cis men and make jokes about how he must be a faggot because he has a higher pitched voice, likes to wear more feminine clothes, and dabbles in wearing makeup because he likes how it looks. Femininity in men is punished more severely than masculinity in women, and this leaks into transphobia and traditional sexism. The fact that femininity is demonized. It's seen as a bad thing. It's seen as a fake thing, especially with trans women. It's something you put on. That's why every single documentary about trans women, it's always them putting on makeup and it's them putting on clothes. And that's why the trans community has turned away from doing that. Because then it makes it look like, for this person to be a woman, you have to dress up for the act. And isn't that just disgusting? The fact that an entire group of people, a huge group of people, women, even if we're just talking about cis women, get punished because of their femininity, or their lack thereof of their femininity. In the 1920s, trans women were forced to present themselves to doctors as wearing a ton of makeup. They were usually wearing dresses and talking in an overtly feminine nature, or otherwise they were turned away at the door because they weren't taking it seriously. They also had to say that the reason that they wanted to be a female was because when they were younger they knew they had to be a girl, and when they found out that they've always liked men, they had to sustain from the act of it because that would be homosexual and wrong. It got to the point, though, where doctors realized that these trans women were just telling them what they wanted to hear, so they wrote in the reports about how they were liars and about how they were deceivers, something that trans people have the title of now. It's like, oh, this beautiful woman, and she's so amazing, and she's so funny and pretty. Turns out that she had a penis once in her life, so she deceived me. Fuck, where was I? Oh yeah, the treatment of femininity in cis men. I'm not very good with words. Are you? No? Who is then? Should we just sit here a while in silence while we think? This is a lot to take in. I know. It's a lot to take in. I bet I didn't really explain it very well, did I? It's a very hard thing to explain, but I hope you get what I was generally going for. I mean, I love being a girl. People think that I must be super miserable to want to do this. No. I'm only super miserable because of the way I get treated for wanting to do this. There's a difference. There are also plenty of other factors in my life that make me miserable. I talk about myself a lot. That's not really bad. Not too bad at all, really. Sometimes I look at my face and it all just blends in together. Like it doesn't really exist. I hate seeing myself on film. This trans face, this trans body. But I'm so beautiful. How can I not look at myself, you know? Yeah. Thanks for listening.